Getting professional.
We're starting.
We are on the air.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I hereby declare the zoning board of adjustment of Long Hill Township called to order at 7:33 on April 15, 2025. Call to order and statement of compliance. Adequate notice of this meeting/hearing has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting/hearing dates on the municipal bulletin board, by sending a copy to the Echo Sentinel, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. Standard board procedures. Any meeting/hearing conducted by the board is a quasi-judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision. A decorum appropriate to a judicial meeting must be maintained at all times. Meeting cutoff. Announcement is made that, as a matter of procedure, it is the intention of the Zoning Board of Adjustment not to continue any matter past 10:30 p.m. at any regular or special meeting/hearing of the board unless a motion is passed by the members then present to extend the meeting/hearing to a later specified cutoff time. Electronic devices. All in attendance are asked to mute their phones or any other electronic devices to as to not interrupt the proceeding. So everybody got their little phones out and turn down the volume. Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please lead us, Tom?
Gladly. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Yes, Mr. Aronio.
Here.
Mr. Giannakis is currently absent. Mr. Rosenberg is excused this evening. Mr. Watts?
Here.
Mr. Zadrozny?
Here.
Mr. White is currently absent. Vice Chairman Grosskopf?
Present.
Chairman Correct?
Yes, here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Yes, thank you. Okay, now, first matter of business is I understand that the bulk variance for block 105-03, lot 3, zone R4, 140 Laurel Avenue, application number 2502Z, Michael DeFinis. Applicant is requesting relief for impervious coverage and structures constructed without permits. I understand that's being carried to June 17, 2025. What's the reason for that?
They are looking to hire additional professionals to testify.
Okay, good. That makes our job easier. Okay, do I hear a motion to carry that?
Mr. Chairman, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so,
Well, somebody can make the motion, you can still do that, but go ahead.
either way, just, okay, all right, I'm already talking, so I'll keep
Yeah.
going. So, there may be an issue with the notice on this. I did review it. Everything was published on time, the content was good. We believe it was sent to everybody on the 200-foot list. There may be 3 people they didn't notice already. We're still trying to confirm that with their attorney.
Okay.
So if,
Yeah,
the
I'm
board-
missing 3 receipts for the 200-foot list, so
All right,
hopefully-
so clearing that issue up, it should be, we can still move it to June 17th, providing they comply with those
Right.
notices.
Yeah,
Okay,
so no further notice except those
those,
3 if
right.
needed.
right, okay. All right, do I hear a motion to move it to June 17th, 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Do
I will
hear-
second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, moved. All right, the next one is a bulk variance, block 10503, lot 3, zone R2, 439 Mercer Street, Sterling, application number 25-04Z, Salvatore Savata. Applicant is requesting relief for impervious overage. Sir, you can have a seat.
Mr. Chairman, real quick, while the applicant's getting situated,
Yes,
I'll just
go
point
ahead.
out, I did review his notice. I deem it to be sufficient both to its content and timeliness of service. Sent to owners of property within 200 feet on April 2nd by certified mail, and then also published in the Echo Sentinel on April 3rd. So the board has jurisdiction here to decide the case in my humble legal opinion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, I also want to make an observation. I don't see any public, but in case somebody walks in the meantime, I will let them ask questions. But right now, there is no public out there. Okay, would you introduce yourself to us?
Mr. Savata,
Oh, yeah,
hold on.
first,
Oh, we can
after you
swear.
do that, you have to be sworn in.
I gotta swear you in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sure, whatever you like.
Yeah.
You didn't swear at him yet, Chris?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
This is a quasi-judicial proceeding, so it's
Sure.
sort of like a court case. We've got to swear you in as well as our board professionals. If all 3 of you could raise your right hands for me. There you go. Do all three of you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, great.
Please talk into the mic, because it has to be on the
Sure.
record.
Can you hear okay?
Yes.
So, yeah, my wife and I moved in 2016 after purchasing the home in 2015. We've done renovations. We've done a lot of renovations, all of them permitted. And I guess when we did the garage extension, we filed for a permit. We had architect plans. The architect that we hired, he was not the general contractor for the project, but we submitted the plans and we got them approved and we built. More recently, we've had some other permitted work. Since then, we're doing a playroom for our kids, my 6-month-old and my 2-year-olds. And in the process of submitting permits for the playroom, there was an issue with lot coverage. Like we were requested a survey, which we submitted, and then I guess the lot coverage came back at about 24%. My understanding was 18.9%. So,
Hold the mic closer.
oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're here now.
Okay. Just, what exactly put you over?
So it's a combination of the driveway and the garage extension. The garage extension is I think it's about 1,000 square feet, more or less. It's a 3-car garage and a little bit extension piece.
And that's what you put on?
That's what the permitted work was. And then the driveway so that you could access the driveway, the new
garage.
garage that extended to it.
And you had stated that initially, a calculation was done that you thought put you at a lesser?
18.9%, I think,
Okay.
if I remember it precisely, yeah.
And then when it was redone for this latest,
Well, the survey wasn't done for this work, because this work we did now was all interior work.
okay.
But a survey was requested when we submitted application.
And at that time, you found the discrepancy?
Correct. So I think we're back.
My
in
next
line
question
when-
would be, is there
before COVID
anything-
was the garage.
Is there anything at all that you could remove on your property? I'm not saying there is or isn't.
Just the driveway. I mean,
No, all right, I'm not asking you to remove things that you absolutely need.
Yeah,
Quite often in these applications, we have a shed, or we have a unused area of cement of some sort. Not usually on a newer house like this, but I'm just asking because normally we try to balance off and see if there's something can be removed to lower it slightly. But in your opinion, is there?
I mean, we use it, we use the
Put the mic
patio.
closer.
We use the patio, we use the driveway.
Okay,
you
so
know,
there's no extraneous parts of this property that are impervious that you could remove?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just asking because that's one of the things we normally want to make sure that, you know, if there's a old pad for a shed or something out there that, you know, is there. But-
Can I ask you a question on that same?
Sure,
thing
go
you're
ahead.
Talking about?
Yes.
So, when was the garage built?
It's before COVID, I think maybe 2018,
So
2019.
it was not part of the 2020 construction? What was, in something in the file, I think it says it was done in 2020, right? Did I see something here on that?
Yes, you did.
Was there 2 phases or more than 1 phase? Thank you, Liz.
We've had so much stuff done. We had a bathroom put into our bonus room first, then we had the garage done, then we had a Bilko door put in. we
Okay,
had
so
a
this is all at
stair
different
deletion.
times?
These are all different
Different
projects.
phases, okay. So when
Yeah.
you built the garage, did you have any professionals on site when you did that? Like,
Yeah, I didn't build it
contractor
myself.
do
It was
that?
all contractors, architects.
Did they take out permits and everything?
They
at the
did,
time?
yeah.
And the permits didn't show? Go ahead.
Good questions, Mr. Romeo, thank you.
Deb,
You have to swear her in, maybe.
Oh, sorry.
do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please proceed, thanks.
In this particular case, and a lot of time what happens is when construction is or additions are being done, the zoning officer will give an approval, and it goes to construction. If the zoning officer at the time thinks that they're very close to their allowable impervious coverage, 9 out of 10 times, we ask for an as-built before a certificate of occupancy is issued. Therefore, we can confirm that the plans came in at the proposed. In this particular situation, when they applied for the playroom, we noticed that no CO was ever issued for the construction of the garage. So at that time is when we asked for the as-built survey, and here we are.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is it's a very nice-looking project you did with your garage and your driveway. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
But I think if you were before this board, as you should have been during that phase, there would have been things that could have been done to, I guess, mitigate the lot coverage. And part of that would have been not to have this nice, beautiful sweeping driveway go across the front of the house, maybe just go right into the garage.
The
Things like-
driveway, that portion's original to the house.
Yeah.
The only part of the driveway we added just was to access the garage. The circular
Yeah.
portion was already there when we bought the
But what
house.
year was that built? 'Cause it wasn't that much.
2001 or something like
okay.
that. Yeah, the Marchese's built that.
What I'm saying is it's easier the first time around, and that, like I said, that's, both of it all puts you in a bad spot too, because now you have to come here and say, like, this is what was done and without my knowledge, and that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I want to know when the garage was built.
Yeah.
That was the reason, and what was done about lot coverage at the time, but apparently wasn't looked into.
Well, we submitted our plans, and as far as, I mean, right, I'm not a contractor, I'm not. an
Right,
architect.
we just heard from our board professional
Yeah.
that that's what happened.
I have a question about the quote breezeway. On this photograph, did you take these photos?
My wife did, yeah.
Okay, well, one of your people, okay,
Yeah.
somebody.
Just, my kids are too young to take
No,
them.
no, I know, but either you or your wife.
Yeah.
What's in between the garage and the house looks like it's enclosed.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that-
not, it's never been a breezeway. The
Oh.
surveyor wrote the wrong things on the.
Okay, so that's not a breezeway, okay. So it's actually almost an attached
It's
garage.
always been completely attached, yeah.
Okay, all right. That was one of the things that we were questioning because it said breezeway on the, okay.
Yeah, the original dwelling had a garage on the end of it? That
Yeah, my
that was
current
converted?
playroom.
Your current
was-
playroom,
Yeah,
right,
so
that was part of the...
it was a two-car garage.
It was under the house. It was in the-
Attached.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
in
so,
the house,
can I step up and I'll show you what it,
Sure.
and show you on the picture? Sure.
You had a picture of it?
No, I think you should.
Yeah, in the application.
So this is the playroom, well, no, this is the house, let's see, let's keep going.
Right, so that was the original garage.
This right here was the original
Correct.
garage. Okay.
This was the original
Yeah.
garage, and then
As
there's a connection
traditional,
piece
it was
here.
connected with the
Facing-
house, Okay. I got you.
Facing the
All right.
side yard.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, facing
The way
the-
they
Where the
traditionally
car is
made them.
parked, where the roof steps down a little bit, is that what we're
Yeah,
talking
the
about?
original garage, it
Two
was
windows?
around the corner, so they weren't facing the street, it was facing the side yard.
Got it.
And then we made it like a hockey stick so that the new garage would face the street.
I see. I think it's this one.
Any other questions, board members? Go ahead.
How old is the driveway?
The driveway was repaved after we did the new garage, but the majority of it is original to the house, so it's 2001 when the house was built.
Oh, but it was paved after 20.
We repaved it because the portion of the driveway that accesses the new garage, there was nothing there.
So you
It was-
repaved the whole thing at the time?
Repaved the whole
Okay,
thing,
I
that's
misunderstood that earlier, okay.
We paved the entire curve that goes in front of the house, everything.
Correct.
It was paved first. You just repaved
Exactly,
it to me.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, we
Gotcha.
paved over it. They left the existing foundation.
It wasn't like stone or dirt or anything.
No, it was always-
obviously. Yeah,
always-
didn't-
always
didn't think
asphalt.
so, but okay. Thank
So
you.
part of where the new garage was driveway at one point. Because you had to have driveway.
So there was like a
on it.
pad in front of the old garage.
Yeah.
So the majority of the garage was built on that pad.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So that was already impervious, we had that.
Correct.
garage, okay.
Do you use, I noticed the car driveway varies in width. Is it, some parts of it are 2 cars wide and some parts of it are 1 car wide?
Yeah, it's 1 car wide, maybe like on the left side, like the last third, 40%.
The
and
left
then
side
in front
looking
of the
at the house.
Huh?
The left side looking at the house?
Correct,
Yeah.
looking from the street, yeah.
And in front of the house, do you park more than 1 car? Or do you just use this?
So when we're doing work in the house like we are now, they use our garage as like the staging area, so we park all 3 cars, but typically we park our cars inside the garage.
I don't think the mic's working.
Is it too far?
Oh, no, yeah,
so-
put it closer.
In front of the house?
Yeah, so we have 3 cars, so typically we use the garage, but if for some reason we can't, then we park in front of the house.
I'm sorry, what happens inside the garage? There's staging for?
Well, for example, like the playroom was being built over the last whatever many
Oh, but
months.
After work is done, then you can park in the driveway?
Yeah,
of
and
the garage,
then we
right?
park in the garage again.
So you wouldn't need to park 3 cars in front of the house once the work is
No,
done?
you know what it's mostly used for? It's by the delivery truck drivers and things, like when we have an Amazon package, if we have a car parked, they can pass by and complete the loop. It's actually, on Google Maps, it's indicated as a public road, so
Really?
sometimes we have strangers making U-turns through our garage, but,
Nice.
which I don't love, but I guess it's
You
a
should
public
put up a
service.
sign. No U-turns.
It just seems like it's wider in certain areas that obviously allow Amazon trucks to drive around it, which would make it as wide as a road, but it's a driveway, so
Yeah.
I guess my question would be, does it have to be that wide in the front? And if there was any portion of that driveway that wasn't regularly used by an Amazon driver, could it possibly be made?
I mean,
Narrower.
if I knew I had a coverage issue, when we repaved it, we would have done it very differently, but, you know, we spent $30,000 to repave it thinking that we didn't have a coverage issue.
All right.
You have any water runoff issues on your property? I mean, does anybody, do you notice any water running off your property onto someone else's, or?
No, because my neighbors are far away. We all have about an acre there. Actually, the people across the street have a lot more.
Okay.
And we don't have drainage like the rest of Sterling. We just have like a pipe that sticks out of the ground and it just goes into one of the tributaries. So
One of the concerns we always have with coverage is water runoff.
And your property slopes towards the street too, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
Right,
Where
which
does
is
your-
the
where your-
unimproved, right, then that north side, towards
Yeah.
the nursery and everything
Yes.
else is the more natural, unimproved side.
Right,
So it's kind of already promoting positive drainage in the right direction.
right. So, well, I was gonna ask you next, but I was gonna say, where do your leaders and everything else run to? When you did your construction, did you put seepage pits in and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
everything has dry wells.
Everything goes there?
Yeah, I mean
The
the
whole house goes there, the new and the old?
when we
You have
did
to
the
say
garage,
yes.
we did.
You can't nod your head, you have to say
Oh,
yes
sure.
on the record.
When we did the garage, we did another dry well. Honestly, I don't know where the dry well is for the original leaders. We didn't put them in, but they're not exposed. They're going to the ground.
Okay. Well, that's when I.
So you're taking up all the
Joe's
runoff
gonna pick this
from
one
your
up at
roof
some
and the
point.
leaders and
You're
everything?
gonna take it up somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, so I'll let you guys go, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so, I was able to obtain a 2013 survey from Murphy and Hollows that is referenced in the survey that was submitted, the DD survey that was submitted. So you have a good comparison going back about 12 years to prior to their purchase. And then looking at aerials, we track similar to the testimony. You know, improvements would have started somewhere around August 2016 to May 2018. And it kind of, as I assume, as you purchased the property and then started investing in pulling permits for some of these improvements, right? The renovations in the home. And if we compare those two surveys, the driveway is substantially the same. I'd say we see a little bit of widening, like for example, in the front where we were just discussing, the larger width was there at the point where you would have somebody coming to your front door, maybe parking there as a guest short term, and somebody else having the ability to go around them, right? And then functionally, it's still narrowed down. Most of that is very consistent with what you see on the current survey. The exception would be a little bit of kind of straightening of the driveway coming into the new garage, which I find appropriate. I don't think the driveway, when repaved, was done, so to speak, with your elbows out as wide as possible. It's just a little bit of straightening the edges and things. And to that extent, the garage was on top of existing impervious.
Yes.
So the substantial difference is the rear patio. So the rear patio back with the prior owners is about 30% of the size of the brick and paver patios and walks that are then combined around both sides of the home. And that seems to be comparable to the percent over. That's the 4.6%. So that's roughly 19,000 square feet. Those total pavers are shown on the plan as 21, almost 2,200. But I think some of that includes the paver around the garage, because you replaced the the garage paver, where it was asphalt, the garage has
Yeah.
pavers around
And
it.
the walkway from the
Right, so that's all
garage
kind
to
of
the-
comparable. I think we're right in that same ballpark of, essentially, the property was probably really right at 20% previously, and maybe the early surveys showed a more liberal 18.9-ish, right? It would have been really the improvement of the rear patio that
Yeah,
would
does
have
it
been,
make sense?
would have been the liberties taken by the contractor when
And
putting
those
in.
walk-
Right,
walkways
does
that
it
go
make
to
sense
it.
that if they put the garage, like you said, in area that was already, impervious coverage, that it would make sense that you wouldn't really test for lot coverage as much as you would if they put it on lawn,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Because
like
you're-
that, if that's
you're
just a
saying
swap
just-
out,
yeah.
right, on top of
Yeah, that could be
existing.
how they got there with that.
Right, so I think, the improvement that's, the overage is the difference in the patio, because really everything
Makes
else
sense.
is kind
That's
of,
good
and a
analysis.
little bit of just kind of, thickness of line weight, so to speak, when you draw it out. Knowing that, with the testimony we just heard, that there's multiple dry wells already on the property, that specifically the frame garage, being the newer construction, is discharging to a dry well. Then I have less concern for my comments 3, 4, 3, 5, which discuss that we're talking about approximately 15,000 to 18,000, well, 3, 4, 3, 5, of that increased impervious for the variance, knowing that there were accommodations put in place for the garage when it went up. That would essentially be offsetting the comparable area of the patio, right? The garage went in on top of impervious, so it didn't need dry wells. But if those dry wells were put in for the size of that roof, it's comparable to the patio area that we're discussing now is the overage, the difference on the site plan.
Are you still saying that he needs?
So I don't think we need to satisfy
Which
3,
one?
3, 3, 4, 3, 5 separately. I think they're already, from that testimony, they were addressed almost preemptively.
What about 3.6?
3.6 goes away as well because it's related, and then at 3.7, so our code requires that roof gutters that go to a seepage pit have some kind of leaf separation filter system, right? Screens on top of the gutters. So we would recommend that those, whatever is draining towards seepage pits, be retrofitted on the gutters with
We
either like a leaf separation
we
device
have like the aluminum kind of.
over the top of the gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Leaf-
then, and then that's satisfied as
Gutter
well.
guards.
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
gutter
We have
guards.
gutter
You have
guards.
those.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, we did that just to prevent like ice damming and the
Right.
That shows you better
gutters.
than the
All right,
netting.
so our code, yeah, we could make this recommendation of a small edit. Our code does say like gutter screens and louvers are not acceptable. That's the old 1980s version of kind of screen wire mesh that got clogged. Right, the current modern ones
Yeah.
that you see the commercials for
If you
are,
gutter guards are
With
even
the
better.
holes in it.
right, that are,
Yeah.
those are a full system that go in
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
with your gutters. So what you've put in would satisfy 3.7 as well. So really just being cognizant that if you have dry wells, you should determine where they are on your property so you can maintain them in the future.
Okay.
And the stormwater mitigation was somewhat preemptive, so to speak, to the application. It was part of the considerations in the improvements that they were in good faith getting permits for. It's just that when they went for the as-built, we saw how much the elbows kind of came out by the contractor.
Any other questions? Do you have some comments?
Not really, actually. I was just double checking Joe's math, and he was correct.
Oh,
He is correct that really the patio, the 18.9% may not have been an error, I guess, is
Okay.
my point. It could be that the patio didn't, people maybe weren't thinking, because it's not a building.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about the patio. That was the first thing when we moved into
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah.
Widened
I mean,
up.
they're on the plans when my architect did the garage. Like you can see them, like on the site plan. They are there. I just,
Yeah.
it just didn't occur to me.
So I think that is sort of what
flipped it, yeah.
tipped them over.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and that improvement is appropriately scaled to the lot and
Right, it's not
dwelling.
overly.
It's not
yeah.
an excessive amenity
Right.
space in your
Yeah.
rear yard.
It's not the whole
And
rear
in this
yard.
neighborhood, so,
Yeah.
you know, I think,
And it's like you say like it's a 1 acre property too?
Yes.
Yeah, like 0.96
yeah, it's
or
real
something
close
like
to
that.
an acre.
And I think
And there's some depth to the lots that are to your rear.
if
So they're not
if
as-
the
It's
board were
staying on
to,
that property, right? It's
Yes.
not just all running onto the street or somebody else's yard.
Yes.
if the board were to look favorably, I think you could look at it as perhaps a C2, flexible C, where, you know, they have provided this mitigation.
Right,
You know,
right.
so, I mean, it's not the ideal situation. Obviously, you want things to conform, but they've done, as per our engineer,
Everything they needed
more,
to do.
maybe
right.
even more than
Yeah.
they needed to, so.
I mean, quite literally, what I was recommending
It's already
was a
been-
discussion about sending that garage into a dry well, because
But
it
it's
was
already-
the right size for the offset of the patio, so if it's already been done,
Yeah, okay.
right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. So, we've determined that there was very little negative effect on any of the property around it. There's a very little negative effect on the property itself because of the dry wells and all the other things that were done. So that takes care of the negative criteria. Any other questions?
Could I just ask Joe a quick point of
Yeah, sure.
clarification? So, Joe, just as far as him complying with your memo, if we were to approve this, 3.1 is already satisfied because he submitted that survey already.
Correct.
3.5 is satisfied, right?
Yeah, so 3.1 satisfied, 3.2 is more informational,
Yeah.
right? Setting the stage, 3.3, 4, 5, and 6 are satisfied as part of the mitigation. 3.7, well, as well, because that was confirmed by stipulating that they're already installed.
Okay.
So then 3.8, 3.9 really doesn't matter because everything's stabilized.
Yep.
So there's no active construction, you're just looking to get the COs that you didn't have
Correct.
previously.
Okay. But they didn't- okay, so
And
really-
4.1 is, as I said, not required. So yeah, so 3.8's the only one that really lasts from my letter,
Yeah.
as just being cognizant that they have dry wells and they need to maintain them.
Would he need any other approvals from the township, just so he knows, in case he gets favorable? That would you know?
No, I think they're good.
Okay.
Pretty sure they're good.
And
Okay.
Joe, for you, you're just confident that whatever they say they have is built as to your standards and we don't have to inspect it or look at it? You don't have a plan or anything? Do you
I
okay with that?
don't, I mean, I didn't know about the dry well, so I didn't go
Yeah,
checking
yeah,
to see
yeah.
if we had something on file for it, but, I mean,
Should be, I remember
the leaders are going down, they're not discharging at grade, they're discharging underground, so they're
it's got-
going.
it's gotta go
You're
somewhere.
Yeah, that's
satisfied
enough to know that there's
whatever's
something under
happening
there.
Is enough?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it would have been a prefab system that's gonna be able to easily accommodate the garage.
Okay.
So those standard size kind of drywall units are gonna
Just
be
not
able to
a
take,
pipe running to the street somewhere?
Correct.
Okay.
it was like a cement tube, a cylindrical
Yep.
cement
Right.
tube. It was,
Yep.
I think it was about 4 feet, and
Yeah.
the whole thing was about.
so that's
you know,
gonna
a couple feet
be,
deep under that.
that's gonna be able to accommodate the garage roof area.
Good.
So really, it's just 3.8 he's got to comply with, otherwise there's really no other
Yep.
conditions. Okay.
Correct.
I'm not looking at the standards there. What's 3.8?
3.8 was just,
Maintaining.
to recognize that you're responsible for maintaining your stormwater systems, so that would be your roof leaders, your, right, in this case, the roof leaders, the screens on your gutters,
Which you already have.
conveyance, and the dry well. So just, dry wells over time, even with the screens on them, you will collect debris and other things.
How do you know? Is it backs up at the leader?
Yeah, if you start seeing your roofs overflowing, obviously your screens start getting clogged.
Okay.
But then if you see at the downspout, a lot of times, as it goes underground, there will be an emergency overflow. So
Okay.
there'll be like a Y connection there.
Mhm.
And so if that's clogged underground, that water will just rush out on grade. If you start seeing that, you're gonna wanna, basically just roto-rooter them out.
Okay,
You can do
understood.
it with your own Ryobi from Home Depot, or you can call somebody in to do it when they're doing, gutter cleaning.
Okay.
And then that'll be able, there should be a port on top of the drywall somewhere. There should be a small cap somewhere in your yard
Okay.
that you would be able to open that and then, remove anything that's accumulating there if necessary.
Understood.
Just for the record, no other people from the public has shown up, so I'm closing it to any public because there are none. Okay. Any other questions from the board members? Is there anything you want to say before we deliberate?
No, I think it was all covered. Thank you.
Okay. Gary, would you like to start?
Sure, I got here late, so,
Yep.
I got here late,
You
so
didn't miss anything.
I didn't miss anything except for trying to understand what brought you here.
Put that mic a little
Because
better
we
so
have a
can hear.
flexible C variance, which seems to be reviewed by our professionals, and no one's complaining about it, so I'll be in favor of this.
Randall?
You already have what we were probably going to ask you to do, if you didn't, so I don't really see what else there is to really comment on, so, yeah.
Jerry?
I concur with what Randall said. I think you've already done what our professional, our engineer would have asked you to do. We would have all supported him on that, so I don't think there's anything more that you need to do.
Alex?
I just want to applaud the applicant for doing the right thing, and crossing all the Ts and dotting all the Is.
Oh, thank you.
Because,
Yeah.
down the road, this could come back to haunt you, and you're correcting that.
Yeah, no, my wife doesn't like to hear that one day when we sell the place because she wants to be there forever. But one day when you sell the place, it's better to have these things taken care of.
Oh, definitely. Tom?
I concur with my colleagues, especially with Alex. Thank you for going through the process. And someday you might want to do an extension, and you don't want to come to us then and say, "Well, I didn't talk to you before." So it's great that you did it, and thank you very much. It's good for the
Well,
township.
as long as I have everyone, in case when my boy's old enough to ask for a pool and we want to do that, that's it count towards impervious coverage
Yes,
as
it
well?
does. Unfortunately, even though it collects water, yeah.
So,
But it's also a hardship if you have a little kid. But it has nothing to do with zoning hardships. It's just a hardship on the family. to have a kid that-
Maybe we'll have a community pool by
I,
then, who knows?
I feel the same way as my colleagues. I think you've complied with every structural engineering, water mitigation procedure that you could. You have the dry wells, you have the covers on your gutter. It's a question of the patio being a little bigger and more useful. It doesn't negatively impact on any neighbors. You've taken care of the water runoff. It's a positive to the neighborhood. It's a nice house. You've improved on it. So I would be in favor of it. You wanna lead a
Yeah,
resolution?
a couple things, Mr. Chairman. First off, just I'm sorry. Mr. Savat, my apologies.
Sal is fine. Yeah.
Sal, just so you know, in case the board does vote favorably on your application, any other improvements you put on the property, you said the pool, obviously we discussed, anything else, you probably have to come back for further variance relief,
Sure.
just so you're aware.
Understood,
For
yeah.
lot coverage. That's number one. Number two, so just so the board, so everybody knows what's being requested here, one variance for lot coverage, 20% is the maximum permitted in the zone here, which is the R2 zone, and the applicant's seeking relief for a 24.6% lot coverage ratio. The only condition I noted would be comment 3.8 in Joe's memo, it was from April 10th, 2025, that said you would be responsible for ensuring the proposed stormwater management system, or the existing management system, is regularly and effectively maintained without negative impact to downstream properties. I think it's really it as far as conditions go. The other thing, and I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news, so to speak, but Board Member Giannakis did come in late, so I would advise that you just don't vote on the application because he did miss a couple minutes of testimony.
Sure.
His participation, there's no problem with that, it's just,
Okay.
you know.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Horrible news.
I asked when I came in.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve this application?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Aronio?
Yes.
Mr. Zadrozny?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Grosskopf?
Yes.
Chairman Grant?
Yes,
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And then I wait in the mail for documentation of this?
Yes,
Yes,
Deb
I'll email
will
it to you.
explain, yeah.
It'll be probably about a month before the document's ready, so the
Hopefully.
next, at a meeting in the future.
We'll do the
board will-
resolution.
I'll memorialize the written document, and then I'll just email it to you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Right,
you
good
again
luck.
for
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you
coming.
very
everyone.
much.
Best of luck to the family.
Enjoy your patio.
Thank you.
Can he get me like easy pass, fast lane for his pool?
Yeah, right.
No, we don't do that for the audience.
Deb, we had a request from the planning board chairman to potentially tell him about issues that we come up with occasionally, as opposed to waiting for our yearly report. Is there any way we could, I know a lot of times during these applications, we think, okay, this is something that the planning board should look at as a ordinance change or a master plan issue. One of them was generators. Did you figure which one that was that we were talking?
You know, and I was gonna respond back.
Okay.
At this time, Mr. Chair, respectfully, the board can't, until we do the annual report, I would request that we wait, because
Okay,
right now our planner is bombarded with affordable housing.
okay. No,
We have to get through the affordable housing.
I'm not saying now.
Yeah.
I'm saying going forward.
Yes.
If we have an application and we all have a consensus that is something that should be looked at.
Oh,
that-
yeah, we can send it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In the future, I'm saying that we make a note of it and send that up immediately, along with our annual report, which would include that.
Right.
Because,
And, generators are one of the parts of the code that, quite frankly, I don't really have an issue with.
no, I understand.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he brought up the
Except for
issue
their
of,
setback from the home.
The
No,
setback.
but I
Yeah.
found something that I have to talk to you about, because I think there's a caveat that maybe, unless I think maybe you missed it or I missed it,
Okay.
because there's one section, and I'll show you in a minute.
okay.
For another example was the mother-in-law suite that
Right.
we were hammering back
Right,
and
that
forth.
poor lady
What do we
that- yeah.
call it? Did we call it a relative? And we had, so that would have been a good thing to just kick over.
Right, but for right now, you know, I definitely think, you know, we can put thoughts together and keep.
Yeah,
moving.
no, I
don't
mean-
wanna send it to the planning board until we get through the affordable.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
can
I'm
keep
just
a
talking.
ledger and
Yeah, let's keep a ledger.
add
Yeah.
it to
Keep a running list.
the cover letter that goes with the
Yeah.
annual report.
But I mean, if we have something that we bring up, we could just send it up. At our last meeting, we had this issue. We'll address it further for the annual report, but you may want to look at that, or something like
You
that.
can go to the ordinance review committee without,
Yeah,
it
right,
doesn't have to be
right.
No, I
that
can
formal
send it to you.
report.
Absolutely.
All right, so what's coming up? Give us a little rundown.
So, okay, so for May, we have, right now, I believe we have 2 applications scheduled for May 6th, and the Wendy's resolution. I had thought perhaps that maybe we'd have the annual report, but I think we're gonna bump that to May 20th because of the affordable housing, because we are really at a.
What are the 2 applications?
24 Vicky's Place, which is an impervious coverage.
Okay.
And 201 Hickory Tavern, which is, I'm not really sure. Liz, you could have, I mean, are they going for a use variance, or they're going for a certificate of nonconformity?
Oh, it's a double
Remember?
I don't
buildings?
remember.
So it's basically, the property exists with multiple primary residents.
Right,
or
like
2
the one on Long Hill Road that we
Correct,
dealt
the
with.
one on
Oh, right.
Long Hill Road
So
with the
Myersville
consult.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They're all,
And
yeah,
there's-
those very
And
strange.
we've been making them get use variances.
No,
Yes.
that's, it's true, but many of those
Yes,
lots,
the old farm.
many of those original lots from like 100 years ago
Yeah.
were purchased in bunches and consolidated, and
Right.
the
And-
family stayed on the plot with generations and built other dwellings.
Multiple housing.
So many of them could probably be certificates on existing nonconformities.
Yeah.
But the paperwork may not be there, so they may be in the alternative asking us for variance relief
Okay.
or making lot line adjustments.
Well, I'll have our attorney do research on that, and
Yeah.
our planner.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, Yolanta always sort of recommended they just come in and get a use variance,
Yeah.
yeah.
Probably sounds like the path of
I can give you the
Yeah.
filed map from the early 1900s if you'd
If I
like.
can
There
read
you
it,
go.
that's excellent.
Okay, so it sounds like,
Maybe incorporate.
And we're definitely in draft mode right now, working on the draft of the annual report. So,
okay, great.
yeah,
We-
So the professionals have it, and, but, right now, affordable housing takes,
Do we-
takes the front seat.
Do we have any D variances coming up? Any cases that'll require more of us being here?
Not right now, no.
Oh,
actually.
okay, good.
All right.
All right,
No.
Good.
So this actually is the first year in a long time you guys are kind of light on the D variances.
good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Oh, wait,
All right.
didn't you have something?
Oh, I do,
What?
sorry.
All right, what else do you need? So
I wrote an
withdraw.
email earlier, I got it. Thank you for not adjourning, real quick. So, 131 Rolling Hill Drive?
Rolling in Steigelman?
Yeah, which was the Schvedelman application. It was for a pool,
Yeah.
reasonably sized, pool improvement in the rear yard. It had,
It's being worked on right now.
yes, it had a stormwater mitigation proposed with it for infiltration in the rear yard. It backs up to the county open space parkland to the river.
It's like a path or something you're gonna try to capture water from, a walkway or
Well,
something?
so the system basically is a system of drains around the pool, and then it all goes in for infiltration. We had concerns during the application about the floodplain where it was located, knowing it was close, that there was probably gonna be some water table issues. They've tested in the field at the location, found poor draining soils and a high water table. And then we also did alternative locations in the front yard and the side yard, and they found the same results. So we don't have an opportunity to do mitigation in another location for that impervious coverage.
Okay.
For my engineering judgment, my recommendation to them is that we're going to collect it, run it more in a simplified trench with a perforated drain that daylights to the rear.
Oh, so
It
kind of,
daylights into the county park and
okay.
into the floodplain.
Okay.
It's not gonna impact any of the neighbors, but there won't be, basically that resolution compliance condition is not gonna be satisfied. I'm gonna administratively address the record on the board application and just put something to file so that we know that there isn't a dry well on that property.
So
But
what it's gonna.
I wanted to recognize it for the board to
Sure,
understand.
thank you for that.
So what you're proposing is that with that pipe, a lot of it'll drain into the property, whatever doesn't will go out into the.
Yeah, so whenever we're in a dry condition and that the soils can absorb some of that
It will,
water,
yeah.
it will, but in seasonal high events,
Yeah.
right, it won't be able to.
Like
So
the
it's just gonna,
past
it's just
rain
gonna
we've had.
act like a normal pipe.
Okay.
But when we're in dry conditions, it'll actually, the perforation will allow for some infiltration. Basically, a best
Case scenario.
effort,
okay.
right?
Is that
It
gonna
just,
be a stone bed in there?
yeah, it'll be like basically a stone trench
A
with
stone
a
trench with
perforated pipe.
and
Yeah.
just pull the water that way.
Yep, and just let it get.
And that's okay to do that, push it towards the county?
Yeah, it's
we're
gonna
all
go
with
to
that?
the county property
Okay.
behind
Which
us,
is all
it's
woods.
parkland conservation,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
wooded, it's floodplain. If we were in a wet condition, that property and some of their neighbors may already be impacted by the floodplain encroaching on them, so that we really wouldn't be worrying about.
I've never seen the water get that.
Yeah,
high
we wouldn't be
back
worrying
there.
about 1,000 square feet of the
Yeah.
new patio area.
So what do we have to do then?
So
Just-
nothing, I just
nothing.
wanted to note it for you guys while
Okay.
we were on public session, so
Good,
that in
okay.
case,
Well,
somebody
thank
had-
you for tackling that
Yeah.
issue and coming up with
And,
alternatives.
basically, it becomes like, to put it in is kind of just cost generative for no reason.
Yeah.
So the applicant spent some extra money on testing soils throughout the property.
Just
We're
so-
basically just kind of offsetting that cost of the improvement and hopefully saving them a little bit from the cost of installing. it.
Great.
Now that's not necessary.
Sounds like a field change to me.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Back to the board for anything.
So I'm just gonna put something in the file so that if anybody ever buys the property, comes in for any other future applications,
That-
we don't think there's a dry well like he knows there is.
Right.
We don't
right.
think there must have been, go find it.
Yeah,
Because there
right,
wasn't.
right. Okay, great, terrific.
Just so I understand the process, though, when an engineer doesn't, in public session, come up and tell us all about it, but put some note in the file, is that the way that it's done, or does it have to be signed off?
No, I mean,
by-
this is an administrative
Yeah.
field change, basically. It's my
Right,
engineering
like you said,
judgment
it's
as a
a-
township
yeah.
engineer,
Right.
yeah.
And we
Probably
leave it,
delegated
if you
to
didn't
him
have
to
me in
find the
both
solution,
seats.
right? We probably said find the solution that
right,
works for that.
we
property.
always
Come
leave it
back
up
from
to him
anyway,
anyway.
right? Yeah.
Which-
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so they had a design in front of us.
I
We
told you,
discussed
I
whether or
told you
not
to
it
look
was
into
gonna-
this.
We discussed whether or not it was gonna work, and it seemed like it was unnecessary, and I said, well,
Right.
that's our code, so we could either waive him of it, or we can just have him put in what he was planning to do. But I do have concerns that we're gonna get bad soil tests, and then I'll deal with it. Well, I'm just telling you, I dealt with it.
Right.
Yeah, good.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
So that, so
little bit of
Update,
transparency
update.
for you guys.
Yeah.
While I'm in both seats, while I sit here and I sit down the hall.
Right, right.
An
Well, thank you.
opportunity to be
I am so
transparent.
glad he sits in both seats.
Yeah.
It's
All
much
right.
easier.
Okay, now do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll
So
make
moved.
it.
Second, do I hear a second? Do I hear a second? All in favor? Aye, we're adjourned
Good night, Joe.
at